Hello everyone. Welcome to Connect, Learn, and Grow Together. And our learning experience today is a nature mobile. And so we're going to use all things from nature and put them together into a nice mobile that you can hang on the deck or out on a porch or maybe in the child's room. And again, I'm Janice. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. And so we'll be working from there. So things that you'll need for this, you'll need one long stick. So this one is about probably 2 feet long, roughly. And then 2 smaller sticks. So I have 2 that are, one's 8 inches and one's maybe 6 inches. And so I like to get ones that are interesting. So a lot of them have like bends in them and things to make them more interesting. And then you'll need some kind of string. So it might be, this is like a white cord. It could be jute, whatever you think you want to use. It could even be thread. That will work well. And then you will need, of course, scissors to cut it with. And then to attach things to the string. Sometimes the things are so small that when you're, attaching to the string, it looks kind of yucky. So I use florist wire, and I've also used elastics to put it on, and we'll show you that when we get to it. So those are just some ways you can attach things. And so to begin with, I cut some pieces of string. So I cut about a 3-foot one, and that's what this is. So I put some string up above and then leave the majority down below. And that's kind of going to be my pivot area for my mobile. Now you can see that it's a little bit off kilter, and that's okay because we'll balance it out with the weight of things and make it look relatively okay, I hope. So to get started, you would take your child for a walk, take along a little baggie, and collect things. And probably, sort of 7 to 10 things that they find interesting. And, it's always nice to have things that have some color on them, or maybe they are just like different textures and those kinds of things, and then to bring it home. And then of course get the sticks as well, so that you've got everything that you need. Okay, so we started by tying the string with about 8 inches above and the rest of it below. So it's about 2.5 feet, 3 feet long, so that you've got that there. And then with the other pieces I cut, so I cut 2 12-inch pieces to hang the sticks on both ends, like here and here. And then I cut 4 6-inch pieces. So this is the kind of thing I would end up with on one end. And so you can see the longer one is here, and then I have the really short ones down here at the bottom. And so I'm just going to sort of work on the structure of it right now. I'm noticing that my stick is lighter on this side and heavier on this side. So I'm going to put my heavier stick on there, and I'm going to go up relatively short to kind of try to keep it together, keep it balanced. And also that everything hangs kind of together. So I'm not going to go too long a string on it. You also want to make sure that your strings aren't too long on your mobiles, so that they could, in fact, strangle a child. You want to make sure that they're safe for that. So this is my other stick, and you can see that I put it too far one way and it's not hanging right. So it's always good when you're putting the string on to put it on loosely, and then you can slide it along to the center so it hangs a bit straighter. So that's a little bit better. And then tighten it up again. And then I'm going to hang that on my other end of the stick to hopefully balance things out. And again, not making too much string on it to hang down too far. Your mobile looks better if it's not all like big long strings to things, if it's kind of gathered together into a central thing. So there's my base for my mobile. I have the big stick on the top. I have the smaller sticks on the bottom. And then I have my string down the middle. And this one I can see isn't hanging very well. So I'm going to slide this along a little bit further down so it hangs a little bit better, and then I'm going to tie it tight so it won't move. So there we go. Okay, so relatively balanced and close to what you want, and you can kind of slide your strings here and there wherever you need to get that better balance, or put heavier things on ends that are sticking up, like this end here. I'll put a heavier thing on there so that it'll pull it down. Okay, so we have our basis for our mobile, and now we're going to ask the child what they would like to put on the mobile. And so I'm just going to hang that up there for now so you can see my face. And so sometimes with things that they choose, they're really difficult to get them attached. So what I've done is I've used wire, and I put a little circle around it, so that, and then wrapped it up, and so I got a little loop there so that it's easy to put something on. So I might start with this one here, and we'll just try things for weight. Now, because one of the things that I have is a rock, and so I showed you that earlier, that's really hard to attach, and it's hard to put a wire around it as well. So what I did is I just put an elastic on it, nice and tight, and then it will be relatively easy to just run the string through that and tie it on. Okay, so I might do that up here high. So I'm just going to run, as I say, run the string through the elastic and then tie it. And that will also kind of be a good base for my mobile. So then I'm going to tie it on, and then the string can go on down below. Okay, so then you can see what I've done there. So that rock kind of looks neat hanging there. It's kind of different to have a rock on there. Okay, and then I've got a piece of bark over here, and then I'm going to add a piece of moss. So I picked up a piece of moss, which is a pretty green color. I really like moss. And I'm going to play with that to see where it bounces. So it bounces about there. And then I'm going to tie that one on. And then once I decide where everything's going to go, I'm going to cut all these strings off so it doesn't look so messy. Okay, so then I have bark, I have moss, I have my rock, and now I'm going to work on this side. Okay, we'll turn around here so you can see. So I have to add some short strings onto there so that I can tie my things on. And again, you add the strings loosely and then you slide them along till they sit kind of right on the stick, and that really helps with getting that balance. So I've got a pine cone that I can put on, and I used a wire around the pine cone just so that it would be secure on there, because pine cones are pretty hard to attach because they don't have a smooth side to put anything on. And then I have another spot to put something else on here, so I'm going to attach another string, and again moving the string along the stick until it kind of balances. So it's kind of going up in the air, so I'm going to move it out to the end of the stick so that it will work better and hopefully bounce a bit better. There we go. And on this one, I have an acorn, 2 acorns together, which I can put on that. And again, I made another loop on that one with a wire, so that worked pretty good. And I'm going to attach it so that it is hanging up pretty close because it's pretty light. And get that attached. Okay, and I'm going to cut some of these strings off so it doesn't look so messy. Okay, so we've got 5 things on so far, 6 things on, and now we want to know what else do we want to put on. Well, we've got a nut here, and we've got a stick here. Maybe we can put the stick right here so that it can hang down and fill in that hole that's kind of there with no string hanging down. And when you're attaching the strings, you want to kind of put things at different heights so that everything will hang and fill in spots. So you can see how it's kind of balanced now, where I've got some light things and some heavy things going around. And then I'm going to put my nut right on the bottom. And it's actually kind of a cool nut because it's half eaten. So some squirrel was eating this nut and got distracted and dropped it into my flower bed, and that's where I found it. But on your walk with your child, you'll be able to find all kinds of things and then be able to add it to your mobile. So one thing to remember that I mentioned earlier was about the string. Nothing too long that can wrap around a child's neck and strangle them, and then spreading things out so that they are relatively even. So there's my mobile. I hope that you like it. I hope that you have lots of fun making one with your child. It's a great way to display their treasures without them just piled in a spot in your house. And it's great because it will go outside and be fine outside. It won't be affected by the weather. So have fun on your walk. Have fun making a mobile. So from Janice to you, we'll see you again. Bye.